Hi, it's Doug Kooy for So What Do You Think? And right here in New York, now we're in Battery Park. I was going to tell you the other day on our first episode of what we did on this, what Battery Park stood for. This is a place, of course, where they had the battery, you know, to hold off the revolutionary people that were coming in. They had a whole series of ammunition and depots here and all that kind of stuff, so they called it Battery Park. And I'll show you a little bit more in a future one about Battery Park. Today we're going to do the 9/11 stuff, and I'm gonna, because we're not too far from the World Trade Center site, so you'll be able to see some of that. I think we have a helicopter coming in, a lot of action going on. Of course, this is New York. This is the Hudson River, and you might see a boat come in here a little bit later on, and they take people from this side, the Manhattan side, over to New Jersey. Yeah, there's a boat coming in now, as you can see, the New York Waterway. Waterway is a major area for traffic in the New York area. I mean, you have all kinds of ways, subways, and then you've got these guys, and it's kind of cool. So there you go. That's what we're doing. Doug Kooy, so what do you think? New York. Okay, no trip to New York would be complete without the Statue of Liberty. This is a gift from the French, and without the French, hey, the colonists over here would have been in big trouble, probably would not have won the war. And you can see Ellis Island there too. Now, story about Ellis Island, our family name is on the books in Ellis Island. My grandfather and grandmother came over. Of course, my father was with them, and they lost a child on the way over, which is too bad. So my father lost a brother on the trip over. And but they signed in at Ellis Island, and as I sit here, you know, I still get kind of emotional about it. It was such an amazing thing. My daughter and I had the opportunity to go over one day to Ellis Island, and there on the books was my my grandparents' names and our family name there on Ellis Island. Pretty cool, eh? Well, we're at the observation deck, and this is the World Trade Center site. It's nice to see that buildings are going up. It's been a while. Can you imagine 9 years ago, eh? Now, what was I doing 9 years ago? Getting ready to do a TV show in Vancouver, wondering what we were going to talk about. I woke up on that particular morning. I thought I was watching a movie, like many people did, and it turned out to be that it was reality. And my daughter lives, or at the time lived, blocks away from the World Trade Center. And of course I was a little bit more than concerned about her health and welfare and couldn't get through to her on any of the phones. Our grandson David had been born in July, and then all of a sudden September this happened. She came down and saw one of the airplanes actually fly into the tower, and then she saw one of the buildings also collapse. And she, to this day, doesn't talk about it a whole lot. Also had a friend of mine who had an office in the World Trade Center, had just purchased or leased the office, and he had put about $80,000 worth of office furniture into the World Trade Center site. And they asked him if he wanted insurance, and he said, "Who's going to steal it out of the World Trade Center?" Little did he know. In a little while we're going to head over to the church here, and I'll show you the makeshift memorial that they have. It's very moving. It's one of the oldest churches, and I believe it is the oldest chapel or church in New York. You'll actually see where George Washington prayed. I'll show you that in a little while. But anyway, here is the World Trade Center site, and it is going up. So this is what it's going to look like in the future. Quite amazing when you think about it. This little church, which is just across the street from the World Trade Center, when it collapsed, both towers collapsed, this church stood. And buildings all around it were affected, but this little church made it through. Made it through the fire of 1776, and it was there for the inauguration of George Washington, as the sign said. What an amazing, amazing place. We may get a chance to go in there a little bit later. But yeah, so this is quite the story of 9/11, this little church that hung in there. The place is called Tickets. This is not the one that's down in Times Square. This is the one that they have at South Street Seaport. I think that's it, correct? And what you do is you come here, and the tickets are half price for a number of different Broadway plays. They usually have a good variety, 10 or so. These people are all lined up and waiting to get tickets to Tickets for Broadway tonight. By the way, it takes cash only. There are no credit cards, and you also cannot get in with a debit card. You got to have your money in hand. We've had an opportunity now to see the World Trade Center where they're doing the new construction. We went down, I showed you Tickets where you can pick up the tickets, you know, half price for the Broadway plays. You know, it's quite a story, and we're going to continue on. So this is Doug Kooy in New York. So what do you think?